Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, Rod, normally at this time of year, it is doom and gloom, and what are we going to do with free agency? And there's just a natural sense of insecurity amongst Leafs Nation, and that was all just shedded, 2 nights ago. And then you combine that with Boston losing to Florida, and I don't think there was a better double whammy for Leafs Nation to have the Bruins go out and have their team stay in than what we saw over the course of the last 48 hours.
Well, I just with Tim Hunter here, and as you would know him well, he has 3 seasons as the Leafs assistant coach. I said, has this celebration from the Leafs Nation been over the top? And he's like, no, good for them. It's a lot of waiting coming out, right? But how's the team dealing with it? We see what the fans and the media are saying. What's the team's reaction been, Paul?
I think this is a confident hockey club, Rod. They're a third different from the club that, failed last season in 7 games. There's 8 guys differently on this team, and all, with exception of the other night of Lafferty and Zach Aston-Reese, who didn't start, who are starting for the club. So it's just a confident hockey team. It's a balanced hockey team. I think it's the best balanced hockey club they've seen since the Pat Quinn era 20 years ago. And you look at how good they were from the net on out. I mean, Eddie Belfour and Cujo, you can arguably are better than Ilya Samsonov. But this team up front, lines 1 through 4, just outstanding. And I think the defensive pairings and the depth that go with it just make it a confident hockey club.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you hear? The Flames fired Daryl Sutter. The whole place just stopped. And I feel like I had a direction to go, and we're just cutting across the median and going the other way, which we're not going to. But how about that?
We don't got enough time today. I mean, we didn't have enough time in the day to get all the things that we wanted to talk about anyways. And now this?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world. Welcome to the RP Show. Do you notice a change? It's a brand new locale. It's Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. We're in the lobby on a very big day. We've got Lanny McDonald dropping by. We've got NHL on TNT and ESPN analyst Kevin Weeks going to be with us today, and Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL Radio. Got a lot of things going on. The CFL draft, the global import draft in the Canadian Football League, NBA Blue Jays joining us to talk about it. Ta-da! He is on the sponsors couch. Darren Moose DuPont. How you doing, Moose?
I am great. It's good to be in Calgary again.
Isn't it? It's literally, he's 7, 8 feet from me. Yeah. We're very socially distanced here in the lobby of Hotel Clique. What do you think about this wonderful place that I've been hanging my hat the past few weeks?
This is outstanding.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it makes me wish I'd have been here all along a little bit sooner, but we got to go over and see the casino and the hotel, and everything's beautiful. Everybody's friendly and nice, and life is pretty good here.
It is good. So that's the deal. It's a very special day when we did this deal with Ace Casino Airport, which is right across the parking lot. It's also Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. They say, can you do one show? Can you do one show from the hotel? And we said, absolutely. And for that, we're getting the greatest Flame ever, but he's not here to talk Flames. He'll be here to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, Lanny McDonald, and the chairman of the Hockey Hall of Fame, Lanny. When I talked to him on the weekend, I said, can you make Monday or Tuesday? He said, maybe Tuesday. And that's the last I heard. So I'm just kind of winging it, man. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants. We all are. That was the confirmation from Lanny that he'll be here. But either way, we're ready to talk sports. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please, Director Jordan? And we'll let her rip from there. Please and thank you. And again, Lanny McDonald, Kevin Weeks, and Scott Laughlin are our guests today. Point 1, the New Jersey Devils defeated the visiting New York Rangers 4-0 Monday night to win their first-round Stanley Cup Playoff series in 7 games. Michael McLeod, Thomas Tatar, Eric Howla, and Jesper Bratt scored for the Devils. And Akira Schmid made 31 saves for the shutout. Apparently, he's the first rookie ever to get a shutty. in a Game 7 victory in Stanley Cup playoff history. That's pretty exciting. The Devils advanced to play the Carolina Hurricanes, who eliminated the Islanders in 6 games. I'll just say this. I'm watching the game, Darren. For the longest time, it was 0-0, and then the Devils broke it open, and I thought, well, it was 0-0. I'm like, I appreciate a goaltending battle.
Yeah.
I do. Schmid versus Shesterkin last night, but I'm not sure everybody does. Can you get enjoyment out of a game like that?
I can. You know, it'd be, especially in a Game 7. You just can't have games like this every day.
No.
But in a Game 7, it's just like in baseball. You know,
yes.
I can't do 4-hour games, but when it's a playoff game and they're agonizing over every pitch and it takes 30, 40, 60 seconds per pitch, I'll sit through that, but not every game. So Game 7, yeah, you're on the edge of your seat. I was listening to the radio broadcast, and you're sitting there, when's it going to happen? Suspense, every bounce. And the longer that game is 0-0, the more intense it got. It really did.
Right. But this, it ended up 4-0. It was anticlimactic ending, but good for the Devils. I tallied up my first-round predictions. I had 4 of 8 series correctly picked. So we're not going to get to the round 2 series yet, other than to say, well, hang on. We'll hang on to the poll question for a second. We got breaking news. RP Show listeners get 15% off Hotel Clique standard rates with a promo code RP Show. Book before May 6th and travel before December 21st. Cannot be combined with other offers or negotiated rates. Some restrictions apply. Call Hotel Clique for details. We're very big in Manitoba, as you know, on Bell MTS Cable, and in Winnipeg, the home of the Jets. And before I move on to tonight's Stanley Cup playoff games and look forward, the comments from Tim Hunter yesterday are getting some traction here this morning about the Winnipeg Jets. Basically, he said the truth hurts. And I've had Jets fans, I want your opinion on this, Moose. I have Jets fans DMing me the email that came out from the team to the season ticket holders and fans. Did you saw it? You're nodding your head already.
Yeah.
They're taking a shot at Rick Bowness. The team, in their email that went out to the fans saying, oh, we won Game 1, and there was pushback in Game 3, and blah, 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 blah. How do you move forward from this?
It's really difficult to move forward, like really difficult. I mean, you look at what's come out in Calgary, right?
Yeah.
And when you have a relationship between the coach and the players, it can't be repaired. And Don Maloney was saying as much yesterday in the press conference that, you know, you got to make a decision. They can't work together. Well, it's the exact same situation, is it not, now in Winnipeg, where the players and coach are not on the same page and now have publicly said, I don't like you, you don't like me, and they've gone back and forth with this. How do you go back to work together after that? It's not happening. So Kevin Cheveldayoff, and maybe even bigger than that, Mark Chipman, they got a lot of work to do to figure out what they're going to do moving forward.
I don't know how you fix that mess, but further than that, Tim Hunter said he was in a coaching symposium with Paul Maurice when he was the head coach of the Jets, and Maurice says this group is a hard group to handle in Winnipeg. Here's the interesting thing, folks. I'll let you in on a little secret. Those coaching symposiums are historically held in Saskatchewan in the summertime. Do you know why? Because most of the coaches are from there. Because I've been asked to moderate them. Have you moderated some of them?
I haven't.
Yeah, like MC them, sit on a stage. And I was never able to do it because I was always busy with the Rough Riders all summer long. But at that time, it was Dave Tippett and Mike Babcock and Todd McClellan. They didn't have to go anywhere. Glenn Gulletson. And now I would love to be they still have those symposiums. I'm not sure where, but I would love to hear how the coaches get together, Darren, and throw their ideas on the table. This is what they're for, to deal with today's player. It's a topic not for today, but I wouldn't know how to deal with it. I mean, you're somewhat, I guess you're typified as a millennial, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I was brought up being yelled at, as were you, right, Kevin? We were yelled at.
You do what I say.
But to the point where we did, and I'd like to say that I'm respectful. I've had a pretty good career, so I did do what I was told because I got it from the right people.
Yeah.
My parents, my mentors in the industry. So my inclination's to yell at people now, and it doesn't work. So I don't know what the answer is.
I know. And the role of the coach has changed as well.
Yeah, that's my point.
It's changed. You know, you're no longer necessarily the dictator running the show. You're more of helping these players become the best they can be and you know, giving them the tools to succeed, putting them in positions to have success. So it's complex for sure. And you've noticed, though, the ones who have grown and adapted and are willing to learn are the ones who will stick around and have long careers.
Well, to be honest, I thought that was Daryl Sutter. I thought he had adapted. I mean, we were at the Super Bowl last year, and Jarrett Stoll worships Daryl Sutter. He won 2 Stanley Cups with him. So somewhere something's changed. And again, this ain't the coaching show. But I guess my point is I wouldn't want to have to figure it out because I have not realized the key to it. Anyways, moving on to point 2, there are 8 teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs as round 2 starts tonight. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who eliminated Tampa Bay in 6, host the Florida Panthers, who beat the Boston Bruins in 7. And the Dallas Stars, who knocked out the Minnesota Wild in 6, host the Seattle Kraken after they stunned the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche in 7 games. That brings about today's poll question, everybody. It's for Key Auto Group. Key Chevrolet Buick GMC is celebrating its Springtastic event with 3.49% financing and up to 60 months for the 2023 Buick Envision. Conditions apply. Go to keychev.com for more details. The poll question simply is, who is the Eastern Conference favorite now? Just said they're down to 8 teams. 4 of them reside in the Eastern Conference. Your options are Toronto, Florida, New Jersey, or Carolina. And the last I looked, the Toronto Maple Leafs are leading the poll, and I don't have any problem with that, Moose. I don't have any problem at all. I got my Florida Panthers hat. I'll be putting it on before the end of the show. You're wearing your Leafs gear today. This is going to get fun, but I'm voting for Toronto because clearly who I back loses. Over to you.
Yeah, I think Toronto's the favorite. It's scary to say it. As the fan hat in me is scared to say it. It's uncomfortable. It's all those things. But, as an analyst, no, they're the favorite now. They're the top seed left, really. I mean, you look at Jersey, they could be considered the favorite in this next round. Carolina, very good as well. And Florida, I mean, they were the President's Trophy winners just a year ago, and they've upgraded, even though their regular season was tough. So they're all good, but Toronto, I think, would be the favorite today.
That's the poll question for Key Auto Group. Who is the Eastern Conference favorite? By the way, Perry S. Hockey is watching in Montana on YouTube, I guess. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us here, right in the lobby of Hotel Cleat Calgary Airport. Just on the Flames thing and the firing of Daryl Sutter Monday. Perry S. Hockey, former LA Kings scout, longtime junior hockey coach. He says, WTF. You love Shocks, eh?
Yeah, I do.
He goes, I definitely couldn't work for Murray Edwards, owner of the Flames. He's going to want all his people and contractors to help recover his $8.4 million investment in a ranch in Viking, Alberta. How about that? You know what he's saying.
Yeah.
He just burned $8.4 million by firing Daryl Sutter, so now it's, how are we going to get it back? How are we going to make that money back? That's how the owners think, and it's not right. And that's, frankly, why I think the Flames have been mired in mediocrity for a very long time because of thinking like that, but that's fine. That's the way the teams and the owners think.
If I can.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
If you think that, your team is going to be bad, well, people aren't going to show up. You're not going to sell as much merchandise. You're not going to get to the playoffs. So being good and getting the right people in place to maximize the roster you have should make up the $8.4 million in ticket sales and merchandise sales. You would hope it would offset having a good team versus a poor team. So I think that's what he's banking on, that they're going to be a better hockey team, and they'll be fine eating this loss.
It would be nice if the owners of these multi-million-dollar corporations would listen to the people that work for them. And the winning guys do.
Yeah.
But Murray Edwards hasn't won anything. And his way of thinking is more common than the others. So I don't want to spend any more time on this on the Flames. Gosh knows we spent enough of it yesterday. But Ted in Red Deer writes in, he says, so the players who haven't won a cup don't like the 2-time cup winner and you fire the coach? It's deeper than that. It's far deeper than that. Believe me, Daryl Sutter had some backers in the organization, but not enough. There are people that love Daryl Sutter. But there are those that hate him. And I did like Eric Francis's report on Sportsnet last night. When the players tell the owner, we don't want to come to the rink. And it showed on the ice. We're not having fun. There's more players than coach, so you got to fire the coach. Sorry. Landry in Montana says, this was a cup or bust year for the Rangers. Yeah. Kane will look good in burgundy and blue next year. Colorado?
Maybe? I mean,
yeah.
That's a huge disappointment for them. They had good goaltending. Kane doesn't show up. And you bring these guys in, Panarin and Kane, and Lafreniere is supposed to be a little bit better than he has been early on. They went 0 for 4 in the power play and didn't score any goals. You're not going to win like that.
From WQEE Rhino Radio, he says, Atlanta's NHL show, the RP show with Rod and Moose. See, I finally got you out here to Calgary. Now you got to come to Atlanta.
Hey.
And we'll do the show live from the WQEE studios. We have an open invitation from Rhino Radio. From Kevin the Medium. Good morning, RP peeps. Morning, Kev. We got to move on. I could sit here and get mired in these discussions with everybody. I love it. We got a long 2 hours to get to all this stuff, right? Another thing that I wanted to mention, bear with me, everybody. I got a lot of topics on the table here. Woody's RV World presents the Summer Football Road Trip hosted by the Rod Pedersen Show and Engelheim. Tickets are on sale now at rodpeterson.com. The trip will include charter transportation from Engelheim, June 23rd, from the Queen City to Calgary, returning June 25th. 2-night accommodations right here. Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport.
Gorgeous.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Euro chic. I don't even know what Euro chic is, but it's this.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
2 complimentary breakfasts, exclusive pre- and post-game parties over there in the Ace Casino Sports Bar. We'll be hosting them with Rider alumni, and of course a ticket to the game, Saskatchewan Roughriders at Calgary Stampeders, June 24th. You can go to my personal Facebook. Clark's put the link in the YouTube, and you see on your screen right there. Go to all of our social media feeds. It won't be hard to find, and we'll see you in Calgary on the RP Show Summer Football Road Trip, presented by Woody's RV World and Engelheim. A Blue Jays note, .3. Alex Verdugo belted a leadoff homer in the 9th inning against reliever Jordan Romano, and the Boston Red Sox ended a 9-game losing streak to Toronto by beating the visiting Blue Jays 6-5 Monday night to open a 4-game series. Bo, son of a bitch shit.
How about that?
I stole it
From who?
Tim McAuliffe.
That's pretty
Listen, man, Tim McAuliffe, he's found a home, man, a renaissance hosting that Sportsnet Central 30-minute show. He's always got something great.
That's good.
Bo, son of a bitch shit, hit a 3-run homer and went 5 for 5 for the Blue Jays, who lost for the 4th time in 12 games. I got you, didn't I?
Son of a bitch shit. That's good.
Right?
Yeah. Bravo, Tim.
Hey, Blue Jays games at Boston are my, other than home games, that's my favorite place to watch a Blue Jays game on television. At Fenway, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite stadium to watch the Blue Jays in on the road?
Ooh, that's a good Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, it's probably
It's hard to
Yankee
beat
Stadium.
that.
Hard to beat that.
But it was just a lovely visual last night watching the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, they couldn't pull it out against the Boston Red Sox. Folks, check out the couple's staycation package at Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. Rates starting from $179, including a $40 voucher for tonic, kitchen, and bar, plus a bottle of sparkling wine, chef's delight. I'm telling you, this place is banging.
Yeah.
It slaps.
It slaps.
Plus a late checkout of 2 p.m. For a complete description of our theme suites, visit hotelclique.ca. When we come back, Dub Hub, CFL Draft, NBA, and whatever you people would like. And we're expecting to be joined by Hockey Hall of Famer Lanny McDonald a little later on. Kevin Weeks on the way, and Scott Laughlin too. We are live from Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport, and Ace Casino Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Indeed, we are live from Hotel Clique Calgary Airport, just across the parking lot from Ace Casino Airport. By the way, it's Seniors Day at Ace Casino Airport, and if you can believe, it is discounted food items along with a chance to win your share of cash and prizes with a lucky roll of the dice. If we can bring Darren Moose Dupont in, when I say if you can believe it, he couldn't get over the food prices, how cheap, inexpensive they were at Ace Casino last night. And you're like, you got to be a senior and then you get even discounts off that? That's a fact, Jack.
Unreal.
What'd you think of that casino next door?
That was awesome. Really cool. Had a vibe to it. We'll be over there. I think Kevin's going to show me around the poker room at one point this week, and I'll have a good time.
I'll talk about the lunch specials today in a second. It's just there's so many good things happening here at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport. The Barflies watching on the streams says players nowadays have too much say in how their teams are managed. Yes, they do. But we're not going back. So we need to find a way. Right? I mean, I'm just noticing here the Calgary Sun writing a commentary. Wes Gilbertson wrote it. Good guy. We got to get Wes down here. The writer for the Calgary Sun covers the Flames, and he says the players tuned out Sutter. So he's got to go. How long before we hear that with Rick Bowness? In Winnipeg, they tuned out Paul Maurice. Who are the guys having success right now? Jay Woodcroft, John Cooper, Sheldon Keefe. Mind you, Maurice is having success in Florida.
Yeah.
So I don't know the answer to all of that, but it's fun to talk about. Jen from the Four Seasons checks in. She says, good morning, everyone. Round 2 starts tonight. Excited. I'll be cheering for the Leafs. Boo! I used to like you, Jen. Serena's watching. You know her. She says, that was a great question about where would you like to watch the Blue Jays play on the road on TV. Gets you thinking. I'm definitely a huge fan of Washington. Played Angels Stadium. That's what she says. From
Okay.
Serena. She'll be on the program today by popular request. We've had viewers at, where's she been, they say. She's coming on tomorrow. Jack from Vulcan, Alberta says, great to see the Moose in the house. Happy to be on the road here?
Yeah, very happy.
Is he here?
Yeah, he's over your shoulder. I was like, I was just going to tell you.
How about that? We got a seat for the guy? We got a coffee? How are you, Lanny? Gotta see him. Oh, you're always doing awesome. Nothing to talk about.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and my heart. Woosah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I prayed twice. I told you that last night and this morning.
It works.
I prayed twice you'd be here, Lanny, and you didn't let me down. You never do. What? No, you wouldn't. I didn't expect it. I'm like, it's a big day. The hotel's very excited that Lanny's here, the chairman of the Hockey Hall of Fame, and he's here. Where are we? Go grab the gentleman a breakfast if you don't mind. Brian writes in from Hudson Bay, the home of Trent, Yanni. He says it'll be the Leafs and Oilers in the final. Leafs win in 6 because the Oilers will fold like a cheap cigar like they always do against the Leafs. He says then we won't be able to watch the Toronto sports channels all summer. That's Brian. He's not the most positive guy, Brian. But what he's saying is Leafs and Oilers in the final, and the Leafs will take it in 6.
But
can you imagine?
Is Brian an Edmonton fan? He says they'll fold like they always do because he's a broken Oiler fan. But Leafs fans will think the same way. They're like, we're going to meet the Oilers, probably lose in 6 because we always blow it. You know, every fan that's gone through trouble with their team and no recent success feels that way. They don't feel confident about their team, right? So, oh man, I've seen this a lot. I don't know if the country could handle a Toronto-Edmonton Stanley Cup final. Like, we would come to more blows than any political battle we've seen or anything like that. I think this would burn the country down.
You guys are getting to be like Flames fans. You're talking about a Stanley Cup final already. You're not.
No.
But he is.
But
you're
as
not.
an Oiler fan and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but you start looking at, it's hard when you start saying, well, they're the favorites. And you don't want to look past Vegas, and you don't want to look past Florida. Isn't that what Boston did? Right? You can't look past these teams. You just got to put your head down and take it one series at a time.
Well, it just reminds me of the story I've told many times. Over a year ago, here in Calgary, I'm listening to the radio, and it was the media that literally said, who is Gary Bettman going to hand the Stanley Cup to in the Flames because we don't have a captain? We didn't replace Giordano. And I was, in a nutshell, there's what's wrong with this franchise.
That question should only come up on Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final, when you're up in the series.
So to sit and talk about who's going to win between Toronto and Edmonton in the Stanley Cup final is just...
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba, home of the MJHL champion Pistons. Way to go, Paul Dick. I love that guy. He says, I listened to Chevy. Typical message, talked for 45 minutes and said nothing. He said, Rick Bowness told the truth. I doubt anything happens. Oh, I'm interested to get Lanny's take on all of this, not just what the Flames are doing, but today's player. He's so plugged in with the NHL and the past and the current and the future. I don't know the answer. They might sell everything coming back next year for Winnipeg. And if they do, you'll get more of the same.
Yeah.
Which is what? Like Chevy's going, we made the playoffs. What do you want?
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to get more of the same. Like, it will take some miracle of a kumbaya campfire moment with Bonus and these key players on a weekend darkness retreat or whatever it's going to take to repair the relationship. Like, it's going to be tough to do. And you talked about Chevy trying to deal some of these star players last offseason and during the season and not able to do it, right? So what's he going to do this offseason? Unless they're going to, give them the shirt off their back and get nothing in return, it's going to be a really, really difficult offseason.
NBA, James Harden matched his playoff career high with 45 points and hit a go-ahead three-pointer with 8.7 seconds to go as the visiting Philadelphia 76ers rallied without Joel Embiid to beat the Boston Celtics 119-115 in Game 1 of their Eastern Conference semifinal. Game 2 Wednesday. The Denver Nuggets grabbed a 2-0 lead in their NBA Western Conference semifinal with a 97-87 victory over the visiting Phoenix Suns. Game 3 of the best of 7 is Friday in Arizona. we do have to mention the CFL draft here. The global draft is ongoing. I'm seeing the tweets come from the CFL reporters and the CFL itself. You being the Canada West play-by-play guy that you are, I got to think that you're pretty excited about
Really
what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, really excited. Lots of players that I have been calling their games for the last number of years are going to get their names called tonight. It's a big moment. They've earned it. There's a lot of really great university football players that are going to get drafted tonight. So really happy and proud for all of them. That's what's great about the program. You know, university football in this country is such high talent on the field and guys that are going to contribute, you know, in the next couple of seasons in the CFL. So that's what I'm most excited for. Who's going to go from the Canada West in the games I've been calling and the other U Sports players across the country.
As I sit here, and I obviously I was the rider guy. I'm not the rider guy anymore, but I can say that I am the CFL guy now. I'm just Googling right now. I meant to do this earlier this morning, but it's been a busy morning.
Yeah.
List of all-time CFL #1 overall draft picks.
Ooh.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
Let's go back. Last year, Tyrell Richards, #1 overall, Montreal Alouettes. 2021, Jake Burt, Hamilton Tiger Cats tight end. 2020, Jordan Williams. We had him on the show, East Carolina Pirates. We're not exactly the path to Cooperstown here. Just saying. Thanks for listening. 2019, Shane Richards, Oklahoma State offensive lineman to the Argos. 2018, Mark Chapman, wide receiver out of Central Michigan to Hamilton. Remember Faith Ikakatiti?
I don't mean to laugh, but
2016, Josiah St. John. I know Joe. I know Big Joe. 2015, Alex Matias went on to win a Grey Cup with Ottawa. 2014, Pierre Lavertu. 2013, Lyndon Gaydosh. 2012, Ben Heenan. Like, Jordan Williams is an impact guy.
But for the most part.
But Ben Heenan before that is the last impact guy taken #1 overall.
And that's why the interest isn't there in the Canadian Football League draft. And I've talked about how do you get the draft going and how do you change the process. And you've been around the CFL a hell of a lot longer than I have. And the scouting departments and the U.S. scouts and those guys and, you know, the Joe Womacs and all these different guys, they do all this work to get the U.S. players and scout U.S. college ball and sign these free agents that I don't think you could change it. But the only way to get a draft that matters is if it was some sort of U.S. college draft where you were drafting those players instead of just recruiting and signing. Because then you would have all of the top players, the quarterbacks, the top receivers, running backs, linemen, drafted. And then we would pay attention to that. But the Canadian draft is awesome, but it's not, you're not drafting Hall of Famers. So there's not a lot of interest because, you know, who we draft #1 overall isn't necessarily going to come in and start, isn't going to radically change our franchise. So that's why there's no interest. It's unfortunate.
The big names, Enoch Mwamba in 2011, Scott Schultz in 2001. 2002, my buddy Alexander Gauthier, the GOAT. But some of these, but 2008, Dylan Barker.
Yeah.
I think he's a dentist in Moose Jaw now. 2006, Adam Braidwood to the Edmonton Eskimos. Google him.
Dylan Barker
is an interesting story.
Great player. But again, didn't last. He's not a like.
No, I'm just saying he's a dentist in Moose Jaw now.
I know.
And I said Dub Hub. It's our last point, #6, before we bring in the inimitable Lanny McDonald. Do the Blades come off the mat tonight? Your Saskatoon Blades, they're down 0-2 to the Winnipeg Ice.
Yes. They'll come back, win one at home. Man, Winnipeg is good. And they showed it in the first 2 games of the series at home. They are deep. They are highly talented. They've got a good back end. And when their goaltender is playing well, I mean, it took the Blades, 3, 4, 5 periods to score their first goal in the series. So they are definitely in tough. But they went down 0-2 to Regina, battled back to win games at home. They went down 0-3 to Red Deer, came back to win. The team is resilient. They'll find a way tonight.
Brad Kenley watching at Ace Casino says, well said. To what are we referring?
Said a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly. why there isn't a lot of interest in the CFL draft. Okay, Moose, probably see you back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Enjoy.
Okay.
The Hall of Famer himself, Lanny McDonald, coming up next. We are live from Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport on the Game Plus television network, YouTube, streaming, of course, and WQEE and the Fringe Radio Network.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Capable of doing more speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. It's the home of the Rod Pedersen Show. Saskatchewan-Calgary road trip presented by Woody's RV World, and we'll be talking about that a little later. But we've got the greatest flame ever, as far as I'm concerned. What I've been told, Lanny's very humble about this, but they say the soul of the Calgary Flames. Lanny McDonald joins us down here at Hotel Clique. And how about this? You ran into a lady that you worked with, like Lanny. Every day, you must have 30 incidents like that where somebody's
it's so much fun, and I worked for just about 15 years in the oil and gas business, and it was so much fun. I run across those people like today, and it's great. You try and treat people with respect and have a little bit of fun with them. And big smiles again today, and that's the way it should be.
Boy, do you miss that oil and gas industry? Because I mean, you're probably around it a lot, but I know they miss you. My guy, Dan Rashovich, said it was the best time of his life working with you at Baker Hughes.
Oh, my God. Dan and I had way too much fun. But when you're in sports and then you go on to the business side, and I tell everyone, hire people that have played team sports because they don't care who gets the credit, find a way to get the job done.
Yes. Wonder if Daryl Sutter will be looking for a job in the oil industry.
Well, that was interesting the last 2 weeks. And I think with all the interviews that were done, I think the team and the rest of the coaching staff and training staff basically said it best. It was time for a change. The sad part for me is I really liked Brad Treliving, what he did, what he accomplished last summer in very tough times, and to see him gone, maybe that should have been a reverse, but you can't go back, so you go forward.
I actually had that thought this morning. Maybe they go back and bring back Brad. Would he?
Oh, I have no idea. Sometimes it's very hard after you've stepped out that door to come back in that door. And Brad will have a job, whatever he decides to do. I think he's probably looking forward to taking a little break right now and then come back strong. He's got great credentials, being here for 9 years, understanding it inside out. And I truly believe what he did last year under very tough circumstances sets himself up for a long, long time. 9
years, I think they made the playoffs 5 times. They put up a couple banners. I'm a Brad fan too.
Yep.
So the talent was here. And you know that it was a good team. They underachieved, and somebody's got to pay. But listen, the television channel that carries our show is anchored in Toronto. I don't know if you heard the Leafs are playing.
I did hear that. Yeah.
They got a big one tonight, I guess.
Oh, my gosh. And who would ever guess, first of all, that the Leafs could make it out of the playoffs, especially playing one of their nemesis in Tampa Bay, and then to have Boston lose and all of a sudden have home ice advantage in the second round? This is crazy. And people are already talking Edmonton, Toronto final. Don't get that far down the road.
Yeah.
This is going to be a dogfight for everyone the rest of the way in.
Well, I brought you on here because, well, for a lot of reasons, but I still consider you a Leaf great. There's a lot of them. But, and your Leaf stories are fantastic. Will you be pulling for the Leafs in this series?
Oh, absolutely. Daryl and I, you know, that old guy, Daryl Sittler, who I thought I carried until he got 10 points in one game, and then I realized he was pretty good. We text back and forth all the time. He actually texted me, I have to go to London, England tomorrow. So he texted me. I had texted him, wishing him good luck in round 2. He texted me back and said, travel safe to England. I'm actually going over to speak at a banquet for the IIHF. We're taking the Stanley Cup there for a couple of days. This is a tournament, and the 2 winners of this tournament, it's 1A for the World Championships. The 2 winners move up into the World Championships, and at the World Championships later this year, the 2 last place clubs move back to this tournament. So it's a big deal. And Lord Stanley's great-grandson is going to be at
Does he live over there?
Yes. And, wow. And he's going to be at the banquet. So that's why we're taking the cup.
Good for you, man. Well, please say hey to Phil Pritchard and Craig from the Hockey Hall of Fame. Just They watch this show every day. They're great friends of mine. Great guys. You can have a blast over there.
Oh, and Phil and I have no fun together whatsoever. And he is the perfect guy taking that cup, both him and Craig, everywhere. They'll have it all crated up, and someone will come by, oh, we missed it. He'll flip it back open. They'll take pictures. He'll put it away.
No.
He's unbelievable.
I got a great job. I might be the best ever. You got a great job, a few of them actually. But I think Craig and Phil might have the best job. And they had the trophies down there in South Florida where I spent half the year. Go Panthers.
Go
at the
Panthers.
LATAM hockey tournament.
No more Go Panthers.
Sorry.
Come on,
I caught you.
Go Leafs.
I caught you.
Go
Anyway,
Leafs.
they called me. They said, we got all the trophies here in Coral Springs if you want to join us. I went down there. Just normal guys. And they said when we drive back, because they drove from Toronto to Coral Springs, Florida, they said we're stopping in New York and giving Shesterkin the Vezina Trophy. We're just meeting him. The way they roll, right?
That is the way they roll. And speaking of rolling, the Rangers rolled right out of the playoffs.
Didn't see that.
Everyone says that the first round, everyone is healthy, and you're ready to go for the most part. And that first round is the toughest series to get out of. And this year certainly proved that.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you mentioned Sittler, and I can't let you get out of here without saying this. Your roast last November. I know. Hey, they did a great job, man. It was Leafs' first segment, for those that weren't there, with Tiger and Daryl. But when Daryl come walking down those stairs, it was like there was like a halo of sunshine on him. I'm like, that is a Hall of Famer right there, right?
And that guy should have been a Toronto Maple Leaf forever. Like he wore it on his heart, on his sleeve,
on his butt.
possibly on his butt. And the fact that sadly, when Punch Imlach came back and traded all those guys away, Daryl should have never been in that equation. He should have been a Maple Leaf start to finish.
There's a lot of those stories out of Toronto back in the day. That's why I got shocked they have so many fans. But whatever, that's a different era. But when your daughter got up at the end of the night,
oh my gosh,
and said how disappointed she was that you weren't roasted enough. I thought this is the greatest thing ever. I knew it would be tough to roast you.
Oh,
everybody was too afraid to.
My kids are not afraid to roast Dad whenever.
Clearly.
And obviously they were laughing at the table. Okay, who's going to do it? Leah is a master at being able to tell a story and have a great punchline. And oh my God, she did a pretty good number on me, but I'll get her back somewhere down the road. But I let her win that one. I had no choice.
We got to do another roast of Lanny, because now we know what the expectations are. It's funny. You had Tiger Williams, Daryl Sittler, every Flame there's ever been, and nobody would say a bad word about you. How did that feel?
Well, I kept waiting for the zinger.
That never came,
and it never came until my dear daughter Leah kind of ended the night hilariously. But it was so much fun, and we raised a ton of money for charity.
Yeah. It was the best.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why I went there. I'm so glad that I did. Troy in Toronto, Troy Colmer says, Lanny was one of my favorites on the Leafs. I grew up in the 70s and 80s watching McDonald, Sittler, and Thompson play so well together. I could listen to Lanny's stories all day. From BW in Edmonton, he says, I served Lanny once in an A&W drive-through on Gas Alley in Red Deer. That 30 seconds at the takeout window allowed this die-hard Oilers fan to cheer for the 89 Flames. I'm sure you remember it. Well,
That's
thank you,
pretty
Lanny.
cool.
Yeah, that is something, man.
Yeah.
It's a good life you've got, eh?
You know what? I have had so much fun. Love the game. Still love the game. Whenever I'm in town, try and get down cheer on the team. Obviously, I didn't cheer hard enough this year. But it's amazing how fine a line it is. You lose all those games in overtime, and even if you win 5 of the, I think, 28 in one-goal games, you're in the playoffs. And as we saw, anything can happen. but there needed to be a change, and obviously that change has already started taking place. And I loved the comments at the press conference yesterday, talking about no, we need, before we ever hire a coach, we need a GM, and that's his job.
Yep.
So that the two can work in perfect synergy together. And hey, that was music to everyone's ears, and especially the alumni. We have the best alumni. I mean that sincerely in the league. And to have 9 of the guys from the Stanley Cup team live in this city is so great.
Says a lot. We'll be right back. Kevin Weeks, NHL analyst, joins us next. We're live from Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQE Radio, and streaming.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad. Now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
We're rolling today from Lanny McDonald into our next guest, multimedia broadcaster, analyst, ESPN, NHL Network, TSN, Kevin Weeks, and a pretty darn good goaltender in his day, too. Kevin, welcome to the RP Show. I appreciate the time, my man. And if you don't mind, can we jump right into it? We don't have a lot of time here. Did you see the Devils knocking off the Rangers? Did you make a prediction on that series, and how did you feel how it went down?
Thanks for the kind intro. I didn't make any predictions because I didn't submit my bracket this year because I know too many people in all the organizations and everybody whines when the bracket doesn't reflect what they want. So I'm like, nope, not doing it this year. However, the Battle of the Hudson here in Metro New York was absolutely epic. It's everything the league could have wanted. It's everything the sport and the fans could have wanted and more. It lived up to the hype. It exceeded the hype. It was fun. It was high-paced, it was physical, it was nasty, it was respectful at the same time, and dare I say, it was super entertaining.
It was. The ratings will reflect that, and the cool thing is it's probably what the NHL in America needed in the tri-state area, because up here, what are we hearing? Oilers, Leafs final, and all these series involving the Canadian teams, and it's like, hey, there's a pretty good Devils-Rangers series going on down there. But can I ask you this? How would an Edmonton-Toronto series play out? How would the NHL feel about that? How would it go over in America? A Leafs-Oilers Stanley Cup final.
Well, I mean, ultimately, you pay homage to the teams that have earned the right. The Stanley Cup Playoffs is unlike any sport, and I have buddies in every sport. But I would tell you this: ultimately, it's about the teams that earn the right to be there, and there's a lot of superstar power on both of those teams. We literally just finished covering Edmonton with ESPN. I was up in Edmonton for 2 games. My wife's in Alberta, so I'll just say that. So I had the chance to be up there, seeing the Oilers up close. They were a lot of fun to watch. You have 3 scorers over 100 points in the great Connor McDavid, the great Leon Draisaitl, and of course in Nugent Hopkins. And they had the best power play in the history of the league, and the power play sizzling again. And then in the case of the Leafs, you've got Austin Matthews, American-born superstar, I might add, Mitch Marner, Willie Nylander, Morgan Riley's been unreal. So if that's what the 2 teams that come out to make the Stanley Cup final, from a pure hockey perspective, our fans are in for a treat for sure, just because of all the superstars and the skill.
I couldn't agree more, and I love the answer. Let's put the best product out there and see where the chips fall. And listen, I've never had a chance to interview you before. We only have a minute, Kevin, but I'm dying to know how you got into the insider game. Like, hats off to you, bro, because I know how tough it is. How did that happen?
Thank you. It was just really kind of another extension. I kind of look at myself as an octopus, really, like in terms of different roles that I play in the media. And I've always, since I started, I've aspired to shorten a learning curve, respect this the same way I did playing, and try to become as good as I can and add value to the people I work with and for. And ultimately, I had broken some stories along the way from here time to time. I'd broken some stories. And then quite frankly, what happened was I had information. I've been wanting to break it. And I would say, okay, guys, I have something. I want to go with it. I want to go with it. And it was met with resistance. It's like, oh, we're going to talk to so-and-so, or oh, we're going to do this segment instead. So ultimately, my wife, who's, a global C-suite, she for a company that does 25 billion euro, she's like, you got to do this yourself. I was like, all right. I started doing it myself, and away we went.
You're killing it. I love watching it. Thanks for the time, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll do it again. Thanks so much.
Hour two coming up.
Enter youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Selection, service, price, parts, and knowledge. That's the Woody's RV World difference. With 7 locations in Western Canada, there's always one nearby. Visit us today or at woodysrv.com. If adventure awaits, Woody's RV World is with you all the way.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Canadian Centre for Men and Families Alberta supports men through relationship turmoil and breakdown. Men face the realities of relationship breakdown in a way that is unique. These men need a safe place to belong and have meaningful conversations that help equip them to create a better future for themselves and their families. CCMF Alberta programs responsibly address the results of trauma on men's mental health. CCMF Alberta, because children need their fathers too.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you hear? The Flames fired Daryl Sutter. The whole place just stopped. And I feel like I had a direction to go, and we're just cutting across the median and going the other way, which we're not going to, but how about that?
We don't got enough time today. I mean, we didn't have enough time in the day to get all the things that we wanted to talk about anyways. And now this?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. I feel like we could just go home now. Not all the best things are behind us, but we covered a lot. Darren Moose Dupont has joined me here in the lobby of Hotel Cleat Calgary Airport. It's our home for 3 weeks. Ace Casino Airport is right across the parking lot. And for those that have just tuned in on Game Plus Television, maybe you just opened up Hour 2 of the podcast, you're not listening live, you missed a lot in Hour 1. Lanny McDonald was with us down here, and here's the story. Darren has just joined us. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've been face-to-face in the same studio. And our deal here, which is a great one with Hotel Cleat Calgary Airport and Ace, they say, can you do one show at the hotel? And you know me, and I'd like to think by now our audience knows me. I said, you pick the day, and I'll make sure that we have the best flame ever to come down. So that's what we did. And then for the last couple of days, I've just been, just because Lanny he's 70. You know what I mean? And he doesn't respond to all texts.
Right.
So he was like, on the weekend, he was like, maybe Tuesday. And that was the last I'd heard from him. Can you see why I might not be overly confident?
But he comes in here and he's like, yeah, I told you Tuesday. I'm coming Tuesday. You don't got to worry about me. I'll never let you down.
And that I know. Reliability. Lanny McDonald's reliable. That's not news to anybody, but he bailed us out. Everybody's having a great time. He ran into somebody that he worked with in the oil and gas at the counter. I can't really imagine what it's like for Lanny McDonald in this town of 1.5 million or this province of 4.4 million people where everybody knows him.
I know.
What it must be like. He handles everything with a smile.
Doesn't he? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome guy.
So we can delve into a lot of things here in hour two. Darren asked me how Kevin Weeks was in the interview, and I've never interviewed Kevin Weeks before, and I'm interested to hear what producer Clark has to say. And his visit was presented by DraftKings. We didn't get that in there because it was late and it was a quick segment. So I don't know if we flashed it up on the screen or not. But I have to say, for a player, and not easy to get to the NHL. Did you know that as a player? Did you know that?
I've heard.
And he did it.
Yeah.
And then he just slips over to ESPN and TNT and TSN. Just like that.
No big deal.
And he's an insider.
Yeah.
And he's breaking stories. And I just said, how did you do it, man? And the interesting thing was he said, I had all these scoops. I was on network television. I wanted to break them. I was giving other guys scoops. And my wife said, why don't you give scoops? You put it out.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's the NHL guy, the insider. But it's not easy. You know, you've been in the trade.
Yeah.
It's not an easy gig.
No, it's not. Reputation and relationships are everything. But you know what? He's found a way to do it in a great way, and he puts his own spin on it on social media with his videos where he's breaking news from different places. It's pretty cool. And his personality's coming out, too, which I really, really like. He's got a great personality. And he was back on the early days, well, I say early days, not that long ago, Hockey Night in Canada, right? With PJ Stock. I think Kelly Rudy was still there and Elliot Friedman. I really liked him when he was on Hockey Night in Canada. Obviously, he's done bigger things in the U.S., but he's one of my favorites.
Taking a moment to, dip into the pool of comments here. 902-518-3033. The number to text us or on the streams. Troy in Toronto regarding Lanny. He says, I met Daryl Sittler in the stairwell at Maple Leaf Gardens on my way to see my seat up in the Grays, and Lanny is right. Daryl, to me, was bigger than life. Lanny is in that category, too. And that's the thing, man. Just be nice. I only got to know Lanny a year ago. There's the inside joke. Since I came to Calgary. And he is, you would understand this, certain people in the room, he's the light. You know what I mean? He just shines a light. Rick Haglund says, Lanny McDonald, best person to discuss last. Saw Lanny in person in Regina outdoor Jets-Flames game. Introduced him to a young security guard at the southwest entrance. Well, thank you, Rick, for that update. Dominic D. writes in and says, big up to the Globals. From Swerve in Calgary, says the Stampeders are at the Cargill meat packing plant looking for defensive linemen.
How about
now
that?
It's just getting weird. Listen. I'm not that big into the CFL Global Draft, okay? Can you name me one CFL Global player that's made any impact? And don't say Josh Bartel because he was around before the global movement.
The global draft. There's been global players, but I can't.
I just can't. Leafs are playing tonight for the love of Pete against the Florida Panthers, which the last I looked, the Leafs are favored by a goal and a half at home tonight in Game 1 over my Florida Panther. Man, have I had fun with this. You have to be a U.S. resident to buy tickets in Florida. I didn't tell you because I didn't see you much after. I guess I saw you last night, but we didn't talk about this.
Not really.
I got a friend. He's a recovery coach from Oakville. He's currently in Florida right now. Yes, Theodric Hansen, one Winnipeg Blue Bomber D lineman. You're right. Theodric Hansen's the one global player who's made a significant impact in the Canadian football. One. And how long have we been doing this?
Yeah.
Anyways, my guy, Nick Davis. So he was saying, can you get me Leafs tickets? What people don't understand is it's to Florida residents, not Florida citizens or U.S. citizens. I'm not a U.S. citizen, but I do have a Florida residence because I was talking to Serena about this. She's like, how could you buy tickets? I said, I've bought Dolphins tickets, FAU tickets, Panthers tickets. I have an established track history here.
Yeah.
So I was kind of putting Nick Davis off, this Leaf fan, and I said, they're not allowing us to transfer tickets. I don't know if that's really true or not, but that's what I heard from my Panthers friends. Nick's no dummy. He goes, how do they know that I'm a Leaf fan? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, basically, you can transfer them. It's
Right.
just, it's an urban legend, urban myth.
And at the very least, they're going to let the Florida residents capitalize on the secondary market, right? Because these tickets will get resold. Leafs fans will be able to go to StubHub and Pick a Tick and all these different secondary marketplaces and buy tickets. They'll just be bought from Panther fans who bought them first.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be a fair number of Toronto fans in the crowd. And for Florida fans that bought those tickets, I mean, they're probably going to be willing to pay top dollar. So why wouldn't you?
It's just been a fun story.
Yeah.
And before we talk about the actual, we got some back and forth going here with the audience today, which I'm okay with. That's what we do here. Interactive television, 902-518-3033. Text me here or on the streams. Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says, Cody Grace was drafted in the global draft in 2021 by the Stampeders and was outstanding last season. He's re-signed. Thank you. Dominic D, regarding the global draft, says, we hope it gets better over time. Baby steps. I agree, but get back to me when you're there.
Mm-hmm.
From Wayne in Victoria, BC, I can't even get excited about the regular CFL draft. And he's a huge CFL guy. We went last hour, and off the spur of a moment, I did this, the #1 overall picks. It ain't the road to Cooperstown. As I said, I'm sorry, we're in the entertainment business here. We got to talk about what's hot, and that's the Leafs and the Panthers. So tonight, what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to suffer stage fright like they did in Game 1 last series against Tampa Bay, or are they over that?
Yeah, we're going to find out really quickly from both of these teams, because this is kind of a getting over the hump moment for Florida too, right?
Yeah.
Getting past the first round with this group. You got a new coach, the way they came back. And they really climbed that mountain, right, to come back from 3-1. But Toronto also climbed their mountain. So which of these teams, I really feel that one of them is going to sit there and be like, we made it. And they're going to be relaxed, and they're going to be laissez-faire, right? And they're going to get creamed.
Look at you, Mr. Francais.
I just don't know which of the two teams it's going to be. One of those two teams is going to get hit with the frying pan on the side of the head.
Where are we watching the game?
Probably
Can we watch it together?
Oh,
because the little regular season meetings between the Panthers and the Leafs are fun little bets over lunch. This is serious.
Yeah.
I feel it is anyways.
Oh, I know. It is fun. And we got a couple places in this town we can watch this game.
Okay.
We'll find
I haven't even thought about it. Regarding Brian in Hudson Bay, or as my friends say, Hudson's Bay. Brian says, it was a prediction, Rod. Isn't that what you wanted? I don't cheer for either team. I was giving him the gears, Brian in Hudson's Bay, that he predicted Edmonton, Toronto for the Stanley Cup final. And I'm like, let's not get ahead of ourselves, okay? That's like a Flame fan thing. And he's like, hey, you asked for a prediction. So, okay, Brian, you got me. I would love an Oilers-Leafs final, too. I would love it. And to be honest, I love that Kevin Weeks agreed with me. You didn't hear that, but I said, how would America embrace an Edmonton-Toronto final? He goes, let's just get the best teams there and go from there.
Okay.
If that's who the best teams are left standing, then that's the way it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. And these networks do a great job promoting it down in the States now. You got great talent, analysts. A lot of them are Canadian. It'll be fine. They'll get tons of coverage. They'll get buy-in from fans all across North America.
It's 11-11 Mountain. Just pointing that out. Visualize a positive outcome. And I think for all of us, that's a Florida-Edmonton Stanley Cup final. Rob is watching in Cold Lake, Alberta. And he writes in, he says, "Hi, guys. I listened to Toronto Sports Radio this morning, and the hosts are already saying that the Leafs are the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Hey, folks, there's a reason they play the games." One thing that I noticed just in the last week since this Leafs-Florida series has been teed up is the immense push of the Leafs Nation. Like with my inbox being just flooded with Leaf fans. Money's no object. Get us tickets. Blah, blah, blah. I can't imagine, like Tim Hunter said yesterday, it's unbearable being inside that cyclone, that hurricane. He coached the Leafs for 3 years. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, he was there. I can't imagine either. You know, and they've expanded the Maple Leaf Square. When they won that game to advance past Tampa, you know, there was reports of all the transit delays up to an hour because of the parties that were going on in the streets. And I know the non-Leaf fans said, you act like you just won the Stanley Cup. But for a team that hasn't won a playoff round in 19 years, it's kind of the same thing. You know, it's a huge monkey off the back. It's a huge deal to win that series. But now, because you've been there now, even though it was just last week or on the weekend, now you got to just put your head down, and the only thing that matters now is the Stanley Cup.
Well, yes. And consider this for a second. If the Leafs fans want to go bonkers because they won a playoff series for the first time in 19 years, that's fine that they do.
Yeah.
The team can't. Right. And the emotion of Kyle Dubas and his suite, that's fine too, because he just saved his job.
Yes.
I understand that as well. But it's on the players. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but I'm a baseball fan, and Clark will tell me if I have this wrong. But I feel like those teams that celebrate the most for clinching a wild card spot, which up until last year was up until 2 years ago was a one-game play-in. The teams that were wearing the ski goggles and the champagne and they had to put the polyethylene all around the room, they didn't win the World Series. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
The teams that won the World Series weren't satisfied with just getting to the playoffs or winning a round. You don't celebrate until you're lifting the trophy over your head. Yeah. The teams, again, the fans can do whatever they want. And I don't know how the Leafs have celebrated that per se.
No, there was talk about endless cases of beer coming into the Leafs dressing room. I don't know if those were real or if those were just, you know, jokes, you know, at how big this moment was. But I think, too, you have to celebrate it if you're Toronto. It's a different thing. Austin Matthews has been there 7 years. John Tavares has been there 5 years. You know, Morgan Riley, I think, has been there 10. You know, this group has been through a lot. And so for this group, winning that round was a big accomplishment. It wasn't as big of an accomplishment for Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid because they did this last year. They've climbed this hill already. The Leafs hadn't. This was a huge monkey off the back. But I think you need to celebrate it for an hour and then get right back to work. And so, again, same thing with Florida. We'll see. One of those teams will be satisfied with getting to the second round, and one of them won't be. And one of them will still be working, and we'll figure out who that is tonight.
Trying to go through the comments here. Oh, this is a topic for another day, or maybe even the next segment, because we're running out of time. But Nelson, regarding being an insider, and the topic with Kevin Weeks earlier, Nelson goes, how do you know when is the right time to pull the trigger on a nugget of info when you're the insider? Well, hang on. How long ago did I text you that Daryl Sutter was going to be fired? How long ago was that?
Yeah, not that long ago.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'd been holding on to that for 2 weeks, and I didn't even report it. And Nelson goes on to say, Dallas literally had confetti for the round 1 win.
Yeah.
Didn't they win it on the road, though? Where was the confetti? I thought they won it in Mini, which means, unless they did it in their dressing room, I need to look into that a little more.
Yeah, you got me thinking.
Randy from Winnipeg says, you guys have to make a bet, Darren and Rod. Loser has to wear the other team's jersey on the show.
Ooh.
Let us think about it.
Okay.
Lunch isn't going to suffice here.
No, it's not.
From Kevin, the sales coordinator of the RP show. He says, we could do a Facebook Live during the intermission of the game tonight to get Moose and Rod's reactions. I would normally say, who would care about that? But millions of people are tuning in to watch Steve Dangle scream like a 7-year-old girl. I don't get it. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, WQE Radio, and the streams.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
In the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
You betcha. It's Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport, the home of the RP show. That and Ace Casino Airport, Calgary. Just ahead of more with the Moose, a sports update. The Toronto Blue Jays are at Fenway Park looking to avenge Monday's 6-5 loss to the Boston Red Sox. Alex Verdugo won the game with a walk-off home run in the ninth off Jays reliever Jordan Romano. Toronto shortstop Bo, son of a Bichette. I love it.
Hell yes.
Hit a 3-run homer and went 5 for 5 in the loss. Credit Tim McAuliffe. New York Yankees captain Aaron Judge is going on the injured list with a strained right hip. Judge was hurt last Wednesday. Can you turn the sound down on that, by the way? Right here.
Yeah.
Judge was hurt last Wednesday when he landed hard while making an awkward head-first slide. A 4-time All-Star and the reigning AL MVP, Judge is batting .261 with 6 homers in his first season after signing a $360 million 9-year contract. This sports update for Landmark Cinemas. Enter to win a movie night out at Landmark Cinemas for movie lovers only. We're going to a movie tomorrow. We just haven't decided which one. All you have to do is text movies now to 902-518-3033 to be entered. Sign up for Landmark Extras and see what's playing at landmarkcinemas.com. And in theaters now, the Super Mario Brothers movie. We're not going to that.
I've already seen it.
Okay. Well, and it was great, you said?
It was really good.
While working underground to fix a water main, Brooklyn plumbers Mario and brother Luigi are transported down a mysterious pipe and wander into a magical new world. Starring Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, the Super Mario Brothers movie playing now at Landmark Cinemas. I don't need to go to the movie. I played the video game. I know how it ends. Now, if they came out with a Donkey Kong movie, I spent hours, maybe years playing Donkey Kong. I love that game. My favorite game is Pitfall.
Can I tell you, Donkey Kong is in the movie?
Stop.
In the movie. Prominent role.
Nice.
It's actually pretty, you would sit there and be like, okay, there's a lot of nostalgia for people
my age,
of your age and my age, right? A lot of nostalgia. And I went with my nieces, right? Took the kids, so they loved it. But I'm sitting there, the songs from the different levels.
Oh, yeah.
Were just like, it was really cool.
Dude, you're selling me on it.
Yeah,
now.
You got to check it out.
What's better, Super Mario Brothers or Air?
Air.
Yeah, Air is very good.
For us, anyways, yeah.
The poll question today for Key Auto Group, and by the way, it's truck month. At Key Chevrolet Buick GMC, get 3.49% financing up to 72 months on the 2023 Silverado 1500. Conditions apply. Go to keychev.com for more details. The poll question is, who's the Stanley Cup favorite in the Eastern Conference? Carolina, Florida, New Jersey, or Toronto? To be honest, I think it's very interesting to break down the results here.
Okay.
53% voting for Toronto. They lead. 32% saying Carolina the favorite in the East. 8% say the New Jersey Devils. And 7% say the Florida Panthers. Do you think that's heart or head voting by people? That Toronto is the favorite in the East right now?
Head.
Yeah, well, because Carolina finished ahead of them, right?
Yeah, I think they're voting with their head because I think they think Toronto's a better team, like on paper. I think people's hearts, for the most part, especially Western Canadians and anybody outside of Toronto, they want Toronto to lose, right? So they would want anybody else, anybody but Toronto. So I think they're actually voting pretty pragmatically, like they're voting with their heads.
902-518-3033, the number to text us here in our studio, which is at Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport. It's just been a great day. My friends have come through, and it just makes me feel so great. Nice work by teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Yeah.
Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, now Moose has convinced me to see Super Mario Brothers. Right?
How about that?
Do you want to do a doubleheader tomorrow at the movie theater?
We could do that. I haven't done a doubleheader in a while, and I love it. You just go in between and get another bowl of popcorn or a hot dog.
From Jeff, the Stamps fan, he says Donkey Kong will, in fact, be a movie in 2024 starring Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Is he the donkey?
So it took me a second, but as soon as I heard the Donkey Kong's voice, I'm like, that's Seth Rogen. And that's cool, too, when you pick out the voices. It's fun.
Adam Seaborn. Breaking news. I'm assuming this is Canadian TV viewership.
Yeah.
He says, I'm hearing Game 7, Boston, Florida, drew over 2.2 million viewers. Massive rating for an all-American matchup. We are a hockey country, however, in Canada, and that's why I can't. Serena's going to be on the program tomorrow by request from some of our viewers, and she will tell you, I would think, why an Edmonton-Toronto series would not go over well in America, but I feel like who really cares? What I'd love to see is a breakdown of what the 7 Canadian NHL teams generate for revenue out of the 32 in the National Hockey League. You know what I'm saying? Why are we catering to American teams? If Edmonton, Toronto stand, the last two, that's what they should be, and we shouldn't feel bad about it.
Forget about Edmonton, Toronto, the teams. It's McDavid, Draisaitl, Matthews, Marner.
The stars.
It's the 4 of the best players in the world. They're not just exclusive to Canada. These are the best stars. So when they go down to the U.S., people want to see these players play hockey. So I think they'll watch. I really do. If you have the best players in the NHL playing in a Stanley Cup final, doesn't matter what city they play for, that will be good for hockey and it'll be good for viewership.
I really love bringing in the viewers. It's nice to have you here, by the way, Moose. It's
good to be here.
I love to bring in the viewer comments. Jen from the Four Seasons, where, by the way, we have a very high female viewership and listenership. Jen says, I still have a working NES. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, Nintendo Entertainment System.
At home. Just played Mario and Tetris last week. Nostalgic. How about the Coleco Football Vision?
Oh, yeah. And
Pong.
On that, if you haven't watched the Tetris movie, it's on Apple. Highly recommend it.
Okay.
Highly recommend the Tetris movie on Apple. Very, very good.
Regarding the Dallas Stars blasting confetti for their round 1 win, I needed some clarification on that. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says, sorry, it was for their Game 5 win. They do it different in America. I'm not defending the Dallas Stars, believe me. Which is an interesting chat I had with my brother the other day about Dallas.
Okay.
And I know Allie's watching from Texarkana right now. Shh, on cue. She says, I did a Creed/John Wick double feature a few weeks ago. So much fun. When I retire, I'm working for a cinema somewhere. Oh, my God. I had a guy. Remember when we were at the Kinsman banquet?
Yes.
I think it was either the Leaf night. I think it was the Leaf night where they had Daryl Sittler, Wendell Clark, Curtis Joseph, Doug Gilmore, Lanny. You were there.
Yeah.
There was a guy I was sitting with. This was in Saskatoon. She says she's going to work at the cinema. I'm sitting with this guy. I said, where do you work now? And he goes, well, I work at the Hyatt Hotel, but I worked in the movies for 25 years. I worked in the movie industry. I said, is that right? Do you remember the story where I'm going? I said, you worked in the movies? Where? He goes, Midtown Cinemas. I took the tickets at the front door.
How about that?
He could not have been more serious. I spent 25 years working the movie business. What'd you do? I made the popcorn.
How about that?
It's a true story, man. I couldn't keep a straight face.
But it's the same as partying with the Rolling Stones.
I went to a game with Snoop Dogg.
And our viewers see that clip over and over in our pre-show and stuff, the YouTube streaming viewers. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm in the movie business. Really? Here's my, can I give you my headshots and my demo? Yeah, I sold the tickets at the Midtown Theater.
Oh, my God.
How about that?
Hey, good question from John in Edmonton. What does Moose think of Toronto Maple Leafs fans not being able to buy tickets to see the team in Florida?
It's funny. I think it's funny. But they're going to find a way to buy tickets and be there. So it's just a storyline. I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. I think you're going to see a lot of Leafs fans in the building. They're going to find ways to buy tickets on the secondary market or from people they know down there. So not a big deal. But it's for Florida. It's a way they've got to really engage their fan base, which they've done a really good job of, and build that unity in the community and say it's us against them. I like it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I want to point this out. Today, Jamie, the general manager here, who, by the way, is epic. Right, Kevin? He's epic. Jamie, the general manager here. The story behind that. He brought me the lunch specials here today. Can I just tell you that their hamburger has been voted one of the top hamburgers in Canada? Yeah. So I said, we went in there and I said, you got to give me a hamburger. I got to test this for myself. And blast it if it isn't one of the best hamburgers in Canada.
Wow.
And I said, what is the secret? And she said, it's half beef, half pork.
Juicy.
It's a porger. That is what it is.
A porger. Yeah, I got
It's a porger.
I know.
Half beef, half. It's a beef.
No.
Oh, no.
It's a beef hamburger. Kevin's loving it. They put the ham in hamburger. Here it's
literally.
Here it's
now that's good.
Let's go.
I'm a marketer from way back. Anyways, all lunch specials under $15. You can't believe that you would kind of in a way think that this place is a little out of the way, but it ain't. This restaurant right here in Bar is banging, man, 24/7. It's unreal. The Tonic Burger, Mile High Club sandwich. How about that?
Yeah.
Every day under $15. The steak sandwich or the vegetarian burger. Tonic lunch special under $15, all of these. There's a reason why. From Off the Hosel. Good day, boys. Writes in. That's our buddy Drew Koser checking it out. Good day, Drew. Got any hockey questions for us here today? There is another hockey game tonight, by the way. It's Seattle at Dallas in Game 1. At this point, I don't even want to read any of the coverage or any of the hype because I was 4 out of 8 in my first round predictions. How could anybody possibly? We just saw the biggest upset in the history of a 7-game series, Boston, Florida. How could you make a prediction on any of this stuff?
I know. Very difficult to do. You're basically just guessing at this point because they're all coin flips. Even if a series is over in 5 games or 4, if we see a sweep in round 2, it's still a coin flip because these are all going to be really tight. There are no slam dunks here in round 2.
No, there isn't. Producer Clark, please let me know when Scott Laughlin chimes in, please. He's logged in. Okay, we're ready to go. Moose, Allie in Texarkana quite likes the name of that sandwich, the Mile High Club sandwich. I was wondering if anybody was paying attention. There's a joke there to be had. We'll see you back here for overtime.
You bet.
Scott Laughlin, SiriusXM, NHL Radio, joins us next. We're live from Hotel Clique, Calgary Airport, and Ace Casino Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, and streaming.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Selection, service, price, parts, and knowledge. That's the Woody's RV World difference. With 7 locations in Western Canada, there's always one nearby. Visit us today or at woodysrv.com. If adventure awaits, Woody's RV World is with you all the way.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back. Very special day down here at Hotel Clay Calgary Airport and Ace Casino Airport because we've had the Hall of Famer Lanny McDonald down here. We had Kevin Weeks from the NHL on ESPN last hour, and I love this guy, Scott Laughlin from SiriusXM NHL Radio, joining us for a good time, not a long time. Scott, welcome back to the program. Can I say this first? I don't know what you've been saying because I broke my antenna on my satellite radio and I haven't been able to listen. And my guy Kevin here, our sales coordinator, says, well, there's an app, Rod. I'm like, I know, but I'm old and I like to run it through my stereo. So what have you been saying, Scott, about the Leafs getting to round two? How did they do it? How did they break the curse?
Well, I tell you what, I think in previous years when they've come up short, Rod, the big four have taken all the criticism, right? And deservedly so. When you're paid the big bucks, you have to deliver at the most important time of the year. And I think up until this series against Tampa Bay, I think some of those criticisms were deserved. I think in this series, though, they all combined for 34 points. I think that they were the ones, your best players being your best players, that allowed them to get past a team with such pedigree in the Tampa Bay Lightning. You looked at Kucherov and how erratic he was throughout the series. Stamkos, not the Stamkos of old. You add it all up and you factor in the big four with Toronto doing the job and bringing the freight as they're paid to do. And I think that was the biggest difference between this season and the disappointments of years gone by.
So have you addressed, and I apologize if I'm being redundant here, but what are the chances of them overlooking the Panthers as not the second round opponent that they could have faced in a Boston Bruins? What are the chances of thinking that they got a free spot here?
It's a great question, Rod, because I've been saying, hey, look, if you're part of Leafs Nation and you're saying, whew, thank goodness the Boston Bruins are now out. I mean, you might have a rude awakening in store from the Florida Panthers. This is a team that obviously is playing some great hockey just to get in. Everybody harkens back towards the end of the season as to when Paul Maurice, with his team trailing 2-1 on home ice, just lit into his team on the bench, and how maybe, even acknowledged yesterday by the general manager, Bill Zito, maybe that was a game changer, a game turner for the Florida Panthers. I think looking back, that was pretty timely, no doubt. So while I'd say, hey, Boston's out, we know what they were capable of doing, they didn't do it. They weren't good enough to win for whatever reason. And there are many reasons that we could get into with regards to the demise of the Boston Bruins and where they go from here. I think what you've got to do, though, is tip your cap to Sergei Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers. You've got to say Matthew Tkachuk was arguably the best player in the series. And if he wasn't, maybe it was defenseman Brandon Montour who was the difference maker in this series for the Florida Panthers. So I'd say to Leafs Nation right now, yeah, you should be confident. You're going in as the favorites, because that's the way you look at it, and that's the way the folks in Vegas are looking at it for whatever that's worth. The fact of the matter is, you do have a better team on paper. You still have to go out and prove it. And as the Panthers proved to the Boston Bruins, don't overlook them because they can jump up and bite you, pardon the pun.
Yeah, well, it's a special team, the Florida Panthers. And by the way, if you need a guest to talk Panthers, I'll be at games 3 and 4 and the rest of the way, Scott. They are a very special team. Brandon Montour, we call him Monty. He might be my favorite Florida Panther. Did you get the sense when you were in Sunrise for the All-Star game? I don't know if you were around Panthers people at all, but it's a special team. They have a tremendous culture and pride. Did you get that feeling when you were there?
Honestly, Rod, I didn't get that sense when I was there because at the time we were there, they were still in that sort of murky middle, and you're like, can they make a push? Can they not make a push? Are they going to disappoint people along the way? As you know, Rod, I mean, there were such great expectations for what this team brought forth. Now, nobody expected that the Florida Panthers would go out and win the President's Trophy again. I think they were the first to acknowledge that. We've got a new head coach, albeit a winning head coach, who's looking to prove himself once again. We've got a really good team on paper, but we saw what happened at this time last year in the second round where they flamed out against their arch rivals. And, of course, they scored just 3 goals in 4 games and getting swept away and kicked to the curb and heading for the golf course. So I think this is a different Panthers team. They told us up front that this wasn't going to be as good a team during the regular season, but guess what? Come playoff time, we'll be tougher to play against. We might be capable of making some ripples. I think that's what we saw against the Boston Bruins, that this team is hitting stride at exactly the right time. So it's all coming together for the Florida Panthers. I give them a chance against the Leafs. I think I'm going to take the Leafs in 6 games. But that being said, with Matthew Tkachuk and company, you just never, ever know. And I think ultimately it comes down to goaltending. If Bobrovsky can pick up where he left off, or if Alex Lyon can rediscover his form from earlier in the playoffs and down the stretch when he was winning all those big games, then Florida can kind of hang in there. And I bring up Lyon just because we were told earlier today that the first goalie off the ice at the game day skate was Alex Lyon, the guy who played well against the Toronto Maple Leafs in a couple of big games down the stretch.
I don't want to waste Scott's time talking about the non-playoff teams, but Jen at the Four Seasons says, with Paul Maurice in Florida and making it through the first round against the best team in the league, it makes me wonder if the Jets are uncoachable. You spent much time on the Jets and the dumpster fire that's become?
Yeah, we talked about them, Rod. I mean, they've gone through 3 coaches, right? I mean, first Paul stepping aside the way that he did, feeling like he could take this team only so far, and it was time for a new voice. Then Dave Lowry comes on, and he doesn't have any more success than Paul was having towards the end of it all. And then Rick Bowness comes on, and while they were really, I think, in it until January, February, even competing for the division title, things really fell off. And, you know, I think that what Rick Bowness had to say, and I know some players had their feelings tested and their sensitivities pushed to the brink, you know, talking about Blake Wheeler and Pierre-Luc Dubois, who came out and said that they didn't necessarily appreciate the fact that Rick was as forthright with the media as he was right after they got knocked out of the playoffs in that series against Vegas. I think now the onus is on Kevin Cheveldayoff to change the room up, and that is to move some pieces out. I don't think that they've ever given us any intimation that they're going to go into full-blown rebuild mode, but I think the Winnipeg Jets are a team that certainly has got to move the deck chairs around, and if that's buying out Blake Wheeler, because I'm not really sure that that contract is movable at this point for the last year of his deal, or whether it's moving out Pierre-Luc Dubois, who needs a new contract, but maybe it comes from somebody else. All the speculation about him wanting to finish his career with Montreal and to move on to Montreal at some point. Maybe there's something to that. I don't think that they need a full-blown rebuild. I think they're a competitive team. Connor Hellebuck says that if they're going to go into rebuild mode, he's not interested in signing up for that long term. And as we know, this is a big next couple of months for the Jets with negotiations with their all-world goaltender, who was okay in the playoffs, but certainly not otherworldly. So they've got some decisions to make. But ultimately what they decided to do in Winnipeg, Rod, was to keep the GM, who's been there for 12 years, by the way, and to keep the head coach in place, Rick Bowness, who has been very, very candid in his honest approach with the team and with the media. I think it's pretty incumbent upon Chevy right now to go out and figure out what needs to change here as far as the roster is concerned.
We've got 2 minutes, and I've got 2 questions. John in Edmonton wants to know, he says, Scott, in 30-plus years, no Canadian teams won the Stanley Cup. Is that the curse of Gary Bettman or a coincidence?
No, I think it's coincidence. We've seen some teams that were making pushes. We just talked about the Jets, right? I mean, back in 2018, they get to the Final Four. The whiteout's in full effect, and everybody's feeling like they're that close to a Stanley Cup championship and just came up a little bit short. I think that the fact is that the Toronto in the East and Edmonton in the West, I mean, you could make the claim that these are the 2 best teams left standing at this point. Again, a lot's got to go right for those teams to get to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, maybe this is 1989. Maybe this is 1986 all over again, where maybe Canada doesn't have just one chance to win the Stanley Cup this time around. Maybe it's 2. Maybe it does happen in 2023, some 30 years later.
And lastly, I just want to say this. This is a professional/personal question. You mentioned in one of our recent interviews you're a day one guy at SiriusXM, and I have a lot of friends there that can say the same thing. Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio, Howard Stern, obviously. We talked about that. It must be a hell of a place to work. and you are obviously having a ball. That's quite a run, Scott, that all you guys have had there. It must be awesome.
Yeah, you know how this business works, Rod. I mean, very fortunate to be in the same place for 18 years running now. I mean, it's been a privilege to work there. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what I do, what you do, I mean, it's not quote unquote work. It's what we would do anyway. Don't tell anybody, Rod, even if we weren't getting paid for it. Don't want to say that too loudly, but it's what we do. It's in our blood. We're sports fans through and through, and it's what we do. It's what we'd be doing normally anyhow, and it's been great to work there. And I tell you what, we just moved into that beautiful new downtown Toronto studio. Hopefully when you come up to Toronto next time, we'll have you by to see it, because it's really state-of-the-art and very much comparable to what Stern & Company and Zig Fracassi & Company have down in New York City.
Wow. Hey, you're on. You're on, man. Scott, keep rocking it. I love it. I love what you guys do. Keep up the great work and enjoy the hockey.
Anytime. Thanks for having me again, Rod.
Scott Laughlin, SiriusXM, NHL Radio. And we used to work together at The Score way back 100 years ago. That's a pretty good group, The Score alum. We'll be back with Overtime right after this one final segment on what's been a fantastic day, live from Ace Casino Airport, and specifically today, the lobby of Hotel Cleat Calgary Airport on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, and streaming.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Smoky in the air, it's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is overtime and a sports update before we roll. The overtime is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League. The NHL will announce finalists for its 2023 awards starting tonight with the Frank Selke Trophy and the Lady Byng. The Toronto Blue Jays will start lefty Yusei Kikuchi on the mound tonight at Fenway Park, where they look to erase a 2-game losing streak that includes last night's 6-5 setback to the Red Sox. And the New York Knicks aim to tie their Eastern Conference semifinal series with the visiting Miami Heat tonight after losing the opener 108-101. And the host Golden State Warriors open their Western Conference semifinal series against the Lakers. This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In theaters now. Let's bring the Moose in. I want to see his face. In theaters now, Renfield. In this modern monster tale of Dracula's loyal servant, Nicholas Hoult stars as Renfield, the tortured aide to history's most narcissistic boss. Dracula, played by Nicolas Cage. Renfield is forced to procure his master's prey and do his every bidding, no matter how debased. But now, after centuries of servitude, Renfield's ready to see if there's a life outside the shadow of the Prince of Darkness. If only he can figure out how to end his codependency. Didn't that just sound like a slobber knocker?
Well, you and I went to the last Nicolas Cage blockbuster together. The Unbelievable Weight of Unbearable Talent, or whatever it is.
That was a good one.
It was really good, right? And it was funny. And Nick Cage, like it was so good. So I think him as Dracula. I actually seen some previews. I don't know. I think it's a little spoofy. Like I think it's a bit of a comedy too. So I'm kind of curious. I'm excited.
Nicolas Cage. There's one in a million.
Oh,
He's one in a million.
Yes.
He's like it. You used to have talent in this town. Remember that? Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, definitely Renfield, and we're feeling a doubleheader here. Landmark Cinema is the place to go. By the way, to those that need to see from our staff, there are people entering the contest here today. Text movies to 902-518-3033, and you'll be randomly entered. You'll be automatically entered to win a random draw for weekend movie passes and concession gift certificates. Dan in Saskatoon says, I saw a stat that 75% of the Leafs' first-round goals were screens. 75% of the Leafs' first-round goals were screens, tips, or inside the hash marks. Mahura and Gudas are really the most important players for the Panthers for determining success in round 2. How do we feel about that?
Yeah. How's Bob against the screens? How's any goalie against screens? I mean, this is just going to be a good series. It's just going to be great. Yes, you know, Ekblad's going to have to be big too, and Gudas and Mahura, and big Josh Mahura fans. I know we are. Like to see him play well. But again, the Leafs' big players got to score goals. Tkachuk's got to score. Can Morgan Riley keep playing? The two goaltenders. There's so many different things you can say are the keys to the series. Just watch the games, have some fun. We'll see what happens tonight.
It's fun reading the stats, like Dan says. I'm a stats hound, too.
Yep.
The one that stuck out to me is road teams are 35-18 in these playoffs. That's the big one.
Yeah.
And also, when they say it's going to come down to goaltending, they're right. Like with Bob, I hope he continues to be good Bob, because bad Bob can show up at any time.
There's good Bob, bad Bob.
But 44 saves into the series. And then Linus Ullmark being hurt, as we find out.
Yeah.
This series will probably come down to goaltending. I think they all do. Nelson makes a good point. He says, isn't that just how you have to score in the NHL now? Everybody, here's your task. Just tonight's games. Watch how many goals are scored on the first shot. It does, if the goalie can see it.
Yeah.
Not very many are scored on the first shot.
Very rare.
But it is also amazing, though, how many do go over the goalie's shoulders. I could never figure out how Mike Smith at 6'5" could be beaten up here. But it happens all the time. Never quite figured that out. From Wayne in BC, he says, boy, I wish I could be paid for my opinions on sports, but I better not hold my breath for that. Yeah, don't, Wayne, because you'll die. I just saved your life. No charge.
Hot damn.
We do the talking, they do the watching. That's
the deal.
This hasn't changed.
Day one.
From Allie in Texarkana, she says, I wish Rod could just read all of Netflix's previews. They would be so much better. LOL. And Allie says, got to go pick up the trash. Is that code for something, Allie?
I've never had to go pick up the trash. I'm not sure what that means.
Got to go drop the kids off at the pool.
Yeah, now that's code. Yeah, exactly.
Kevin, sorry, I got your text. This from Jamie here at Hotel Clique Calgary Airport and Tonic. Where's my restaurant menu? Tonic Kitchen and Bar. I love this place. You realize everything happens for a reason. I got a stack of free drink coupons when I checked in. That big. Guess how many I've used? Guess how big the stack is now?
Same size.
Same size. The old me, they'd have been gone first couple nights. Please promote the Tonic Burger for the month of May. Tonic Burger, last minute of play in the RP show. Tonic Burger with a 12-inch Angry Bear beer for $19.99, only for the month of May. One of Canada's best burgers and a 12-ounce pint of Angry Bear beer, $19.99. Wow. That's something you guys can get interested in, and then you tell me how it was.
It sounds good. We'll do that.
All right. Now what?
Now we sit on pins and needles for 6 hours or however long till puck drop.
It was a trick question.
We got to go for a walk. We got to go for a walk and burn some energy.
Do a couple laps around the casino.
Yes.
Where we will be tomorrow. And Theron Fleury will be with us to talk about these Stanley Cup playoffs. Serena Taylor as well on an Oilers game day. I'll be digging out my Golden Knights golf shirt for that. Thank you to Lanny McDonald, Kevin Weeks, Scott Laughlin, and all of you. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, back at Ace Casino here on Game Plus McPhee.
Who has more fun than us?